Fusion is the pinnacle of Dragon Ball. Nothing gets fans more hyped than Vegito and Gogeta. Its introduction in the Buu saga changed the show forever, so much so that it had an entire movie dedicated to it. Vegito's first showcase was dominant, and he could have beat Buuhan instantly upon his arrival, as stated by the Elder Kai. So you can imagine when he went Super Saiyan the absolute horror Buu was faced with. The only issue you may have when introducing something so powerful into the story is keeping it balanced. It was already mentioned that the fusion between Pt is permanent, and at the time it was supported by consistent events. So as a fan watching, I remember thinking there's no way that this dude could lose, and technically he never did. Even after being absorbed by Buu, it was his plan all along, and we learned this the minute he entered Buu's body. It wasn't until he dropped his force field that he fell victim to some mysterious magic that canceled out the fusion. We were never given an explanation for this, which led fans to craft their own theories and fan fiction surrounding this one moment. What if Vegito never unfused is one of the most popular OG Dragon Ball theories. That was a personal favorite of mine back then. As for why he defused, most people attributed that to Buu, being that he's a magical force created by a wizard, or found by one. Buu's backstory is still a bit of a mystery, with the manga saying Bibidi made Buu, but Toriyama saying he's always existed and Bibidi found him. Either way, it's obvious Buu is mythical one way or another. The idea satisfied fans for the time, and since Dragon Ball was seemingly coming to an end, it wasn't the biggest deal. At least not until Dragon Ball Super. Following Zamasu fusing with himself, Goku and Vegeta opted to do the same, and once again, Vegito was born. Before fusing, they asked the Kais why they split before, and Gowasu stated that those who use the Pt that aren't deities separate after 1 hour. This at the time seemingly explained why Goku and Vegeta defused the first time. Some fans clowned Elder Kai for not knowing about this detail and claimed it was a retcon. Kinda weird how Zamasu didn't defuse with Goku Black after a certain point, but that's a different topic for a different time. Regardless, we had our explanation, or so we thought. In the first episode of Dragon Ball Daima, we see Kibito and Shin separated, which at first glance was weird since Daima takes place right after the Buu saga, and the last time we seen them they were fused together. Well, we actually get the answer to this. Apparently it was because of Buu. We get a brief showing of Goku and Vegeta defusing inside of Buu, which apparently was because of the environment Buu's body created. Shin essentially asked Buu if he could do what he did before with Vegito, and he did. So it turns out that old fan theory was correct, and Buu was the reason Vegito separated. This had people all over Twitter saying that this was another retcon, questioning if Daima and Dragon Ball Super were in the same story, and overall most fans weren't happy about this. I think it's pretty funny how much effort is put into explaining why this specific event happened, but regardless of how people may feel about it, this answer doesn't retcon anything. When Gowasu was explaining the bit about Pt not lasting forever for mortals, this can still be the case in the Dragon Ball story. Gowasu didn't know the circumstances that Goku and Vegeta were in when they fused. So when he gives them a possible reason they could have defused, it's just that, a possibility. And this reason makes sense since the Pt is a fusion that uses godly items in order to perform it, so mortals having a time limit is fine. In Dragon Ball Daima, Supreme Kai states that Buu's magic gas is what defused them, as well as Vegito, which can still be the case. All that would mean is that Buuhan vs Vegito didn't last longer than an hour, which is funny considering in real life their time for the fight is a little under an hour anyway, if you chop up all the scenes. So if you ask me, it being because of Buu makes more sense. You can't judge the fights in Dragon Ball, however, based on the time elapsed in the real world, and a perfect example of this is Frieza's 5-minute statement, but this time around it fits. Some questions that arise from this being the case, however, would be why Vegito didn't defuse like he did against Zamasu when fighting Buuhan. My answer to this would have a lot to do with the forms used in both fights being very different. By this point in the series, Goku and Vegeta have mastered Super Saiyan, so much to the degree where they don't have to be enraged to transform at this point. And this is evident by Goku's easygoing nature during the Cell Saga, when he's able to take a nap and be so calm and off guard to the point where he was hurt by Krillin throwing a rock at him. Super Saiyan Vegito in his own right is very powerful, and you can scale him to universal. However, the non-existent strain Super Saiyan has pales in comparison to the overwhelming strain that Super Saiyan Blue puts on them. It was stated in the manga that after using Blue more than once in the Universe 6 tournament, Blue Vegeta was weaker than God Goku by a huge margin. Later on in the Goku Black arc, just Goku and Vegeta being in the form before mastering it depleted their stamina over time. So imagine 2 Super Saiyan Blues in one, and the strain that could put on Vegito. So I'd say them not using enough power in their fight to defuse with Buuhan makes sense. What this doesn't explain, however, is why in Dragon Ball Super we see Kibito Kai fused together. It's obvious that these guys don't like to be fused and prefer themselves separate, since by Super they would have defused twice already, which further adds to the fandom's frustration. In Dragon Ball Super, Goku asked Shin and Kibito the same question in the Universe 6 vs 7 tournament, and their response is that they used the Namekian Dragon Balls. After we've just been given the information that Namekians are demons, it seems somewhat fitting that their dragon would have the power to split them apart. This isn't the issue to me, since it seems that there's just another way for Pt fusion to be undone. However, Goku reiterating the line, "Didn't you say that once you merge you'd never be able to separate," is a bit odd, since he should know that Buu is an option by this point. However, this is unfortunately in character for Super Goku to be this forgetful, seeing as he forgot that he had a granddaughter despite her being the reason he was able to become a Super Saiyan God in the arc prior. So as annoying as this one part may be, it still makes sense and is in character for Goku. Since Shin didn't use Buu this time around, there's no need to remind or correct Goku here. As for why they didn't use Buu this time, it could have been because he was asleep for the 100th time this year. Literally every time this pink Blau could be of use, he falls asleep. Going back to the Goku Black arc, we have the fusion revisited, and Shin is surprised that this was yet another way the fusion could be undone. Which again, there really isn't a problem with this. Gowasu is much older looking than Shin, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had more experience with the earrings. Prior to the 𝗕𝗥𝗏 revealing this kind of fusion was possible, he had no idea, so him lacking knowledge in this specific department is fine. In his mind, he only knew of two ways, which would be Buu and the Namekian Dragon Balls. The recent Daima episode only makes Shin's response more valid, since without knowing about the mortal timer, he assumed it was Buu that defused Goku and Vegeta. Which, more than likely it was, but with this new way to defuse now revealed, it's possible that it wasn't Buu. And Shin wouldn't have known otherwise, since him and Kibito can't defuse due to a time limit. So even in this aspect, it's not a retcon. I hope I've been clear and concise up to this point. Feel free to let me know in the comments though if you think otherwise. Having said all this, I'm sure that there will still be some people who think that Buu being a reason just doesn't make sense in general, or at the very least they don't like it. Well, Daima shed some light on why this is the case as well. We're told now that there are two kinds of magic in the world of Dragon Ball, white magic and black magic, which seems to act as positive and negative energy. Asking to have someone killed would be an example of black magic, because it's forbidden or goes beyond the creator's power to fulfill the wish, as we've been led to believe. While white magic should be more positive wishes, such as bringing people back to life, I'd assume, and de-aging apparently. I assume that the dragon from the demon realm works in the opposite fashion, where he can only grant black wishes, which is why the Tamagami are protecting them. They seem to have countermeasures against people making the worst kind of wishes you could think of. Tying this back to our earlier point, Majin Buu, either way you look at it, if he was created by the evil wizard Bibidi or always existed, he should be composed of this black magic we're being told about. The reason I say this, besides the fact that Buu was stated to be pure evil in his original form, before absorbing the Kais, is due to him being able to unfuse people specifically who are Potara, since Gotenks didn't defuse inside of Buu's body. Potara fusion, but more specifically the earrings that are items of the gods, and it's very possible it's considered white magic. If this is the case, it will make sense why in Buu's body the effects of the magic would be reversed. Just a theory though. It makes a lot of sense to me anyways. Let me know what you guys think about this new way to unfuse Potara in the comment section down below. And until next time, MajinBirds. Oh, you're still there. Well,
hello there.
If you're still watching at this point in the video, it's for two possible reasons. Either A, you're a die-hard MajinBird fan, or B, you're the type of person who likes to see things through to the end. Either way, you're my type of viewer, those I feel I can truly connect with. That said, let me tell you how things go down over here on MajinBird. I love Dragon Ball, so you see me making all kinds of Dragon Ball content on this channel. This can range from what-if theories, explanations, and my personal takes. These different topics are sorted by thumbnail or title. If the video says what if, then that's what it is. Look for a thumbnail that looks like fan art. What Is will mainly be uploaded to the Patreon. There you'll find all kinds of what if theories very soon. I usually post episode 1 on the channel, but the continuation will be on Patreon. If the video title asks a question, it's usually a take of mine, me giving an opinion about a specific topic or idea. In videos with thumbnails like this, white border, or explanation videos, look there to learn something new, or revisit older topics you enjoy hearing. Make sense so far? The last thing I want to tell you guys is about the official Discord, Dragon Ball HQ. Here, I'd like to build a wholesome community of Dragon Ball fans where we can discuss the miracle that is Dragon Ball. See you there.